what do you what do you make of the whole brain uploading stuff, the consciousness uploading stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. I have written about it before. Uh, Sometimes people ask me whether that's possible. I think it is. Of course, it is. Um, when will it happen? Not for a long time. Like there are people who think it's around the corner. I no, it's not. Oh, but eventually, yeah. Um, so I'm reminded. So what is the problem there? The problem is, so the brain's made up of. First of all, we don't really know what the all the processing elements of the brain are. Like we have an hypothesis that it's neurons doing everything, but the neurons are outnumbered 10 to 1 by glia cells, and we're not quite sure what they're doing. And then there's all kinds of other possibilities, right? So there could be mechanism in there that's not fully understood. Uh, but let's pretend for the moment that it's just the neurons. It's just the 86 billion neurons in the brain that's doing everything, right? So now you can say, well, okay, uh, can we build a neuron that's a good enough simulation of a human brain neuron? Yes. Can we build a network of 86 billion of them? Yes, actually, that's completely doable. So what's the hangup? The hangup is how you get your particular pattern of connectivity into the machine. Like, how do you copy your pattern onto the machine? And so, in a sense, that problem comes down to a scanning technique at high enough resolution to capture all the connections in your brain and all the different kinds of neurons, and because different kinds of different temporal dynamics and so on and so on, all the different neurotransmitters, and some of them are local and some of them are more like hormones that spread a little bit. Do you have the resolution to scan a person's brain and capture all of that such that you can then implement it in the already existing capability of artificial neural networks? So it's a scanning technology issue. Uh, and we are so far from that right now, technologically. It's ridiculous. Um, but I will say this. The problem reminds me of um, gravity waves, right? Because 1915, Einstein predicts gravity waves. And he says, look, this is impossible. No one will ever measure them. It's totally 100% theoretical, because the magnitude that you have to measure is something like thousands of times smaller than the nucleus of an atom. So it's fun to think about as a cool thing. It's science fiction. It's ridiculous. It'll never be measured. But what fun. Yay. 100 years later, people figure out how to measure it. They have a machine capable of measuring gravity waves, right? So technology has a way of moving and solving problems that people thought were just totally off the charts impossible. So the scanning the brain in sufficient detail, I don't see it right now, but could be 100 years from now. There it is, and people are scanning their brains and then implementing them in neural networks. And all I'll say is, don't be an early adopter, because you don't know what state you'll end up with once your brain's uploaded.
Right, like it may be principally possible just because it's all mechanistic, it's all naturalist in the end. But sometimes I think in popular media, people pose those to be equal levels of engineering challenges. The building a conscious machine and then taking a high resolution scan of the brain and implementing it in some, I guess, silicon based computer. And they're really, really not. They're really, really different levels of engineering challenges.
Yeah, that's right. So making a machine conscious is much easier and right on the threshold, in my opinion. And building it, taking your scan and implementing it is super easy. Like, we could do that now, but how do you get the scan? That's the hard part. Like, that is so far beyond any kind of current scanning technology that it's not even. I can't even imagine what the technology would be that would do that at that kind of resolution. And then once you do it, then you're basically, it's a guess. You're saying, well, I hope that it was just neurons we needed and not the 10 times as many glia or whatever else is going on. So let's just see if it works and hope that the guy that we uploaded on the machine isn't in some kind of horrible agony or a psychotic state because we screwed up his brain.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be the first one to try.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And there's also the question, the copy problem. When you're doing it, are you killing the original one, or maybe not killing, but maybe killing? But is there continuity between the copies? Do they branch?
Yeah. Well, I think people find that hard to think about because it's never been done, right? And once it's done, I think in some future, whatever it is, 500 years, 100 years from now, whenever they figure it out, people will get very used to thinking about it. All be very automatic and simple. But it seems to me that if the scanner does not kill you, then all you've done is branched. Now there's two of you. One's embedded in an artificial system, and one's biological. And now you got two with a shared. It's like a Y. The stock of the Y is your childhood and your upbringing, and then the Y branches at the point that the scan happens. And so the scanned one thinks it's you. It's like, yeah, that's who I am. I have those memories. I remember going into the scanner. I remember lying down, and now here I am. It worked. It's great. Haha, I'm going to live forever. And the other one, the biological one, is like, well, that didn't work because I'm still biological. I'm still going to, I'm vulnerable. I will die eventually. So I guess that wasn't the ticket to immortality after all. So
yeah, the ethics of that I can't really imagine right now.
Yeah, very, very weird, very loopy.